President Ilir Meta met 5 of his predecessors across a number of meetings in order to receive advice on the maritime border agreement between Albania and Greece. The final agreement is expected to be signed by April. The financial damage to the Albanian economy during 2017 is estimated to be 110.5 billion lek, with the State Supreme Audit determining the biggest damage to be caused by administration of state property. Snow has covered Chafa Logaras in Vlora, causing difficulties for vehicles. All national roads are passable in the rest of the country. Good evening. It's 6 o'clock on Thursday, the 15th of February 2018. Welcome to the English edition of Aura News. My name is Alexandra and I'm here to bring you the day's top stories from across the country translated into English. President Ilir Meta concluded consultations with his predecessors regarding the agreement between Albania and Greece on the delimitation of the maritime border. Following the meeting held on Tuesday with former presidents Buja Nishani and Barmir Topi, today Alfred Moisiu, Meidani and Berisha arrived at the headquarters of the presidency to attend a meeting that lasted about 45 minutes. The head of the state began consultations with former presidents following the request that came from the Foreign Ministry on Monday evening to take full power and negotiate a concrete agreement. The complete responsibility to be handed down by the President is sanctioned by Article 92 of the Constitution, and the decision for the cancellation of the 2009 agreement made by the Berisha government. The request was made by the Foreign Ministry after 2 meetings of Ministers Bushati and Kotzias held in November in Crete and January in Korça. These meetings saw the media talking about an agreement which was reached after the statement by the Greek Foreign Minister, who said the parties had agreed to stretch their maritime area up to 12 miles, as defined by the International Convention on the Sea. After receiving the request from the President of the Republic, the parties who will officially negotiate on concrete points on the map to reach an agreement. It is expected to be signed at the meeting announced by Prime Minister Edi Rama with his Greek counterpart, Alexis Tsipras. Greek Foreign Minister Nikos Kotzias has announced in a letter addressed to MP Haris Theoharis that Greece has requested not to mention the name Chamria in Albanian textbooks. Referring to the recent meeting of the Bilateral Committee on the Revision of the Textbooks, which was held on January 18, 2018, and cited by the Militar Greek news portal, the Greek Foreign Minister writes, the Greek side insisted on removing the chapter Albanian territories in Greece, which is considered both unacceptable and offensive. We have also requested the removal of references and maps where the Greek geographic area presented as Chamria is present. Unfortunately, the existence of such chapters proves that the Albanian state remains stuck in nationalistic concepts, which primarily damage Albania itself. Kotzias adds that the same problem is with Macedonia as well. The content of Macedonia's textbooks is, in many places, problematic. This has to do with the country itself, as well as the role and activity of the Albanians during the Second World War. Our country has proposed to Macedonia the creation of a joint commission, a proposal that has been accepted, added Kotzias. The Greek Foreign Minister responded with this letter to the request for interpellation that was presented by the independent MP Haris Theoharis. The claim argues that the Greek parliamentarian underlined that, despite interstate agreements, Albanian textbooks present Chamria as geographically stretched from Teba to Preveza. Meanwhile, the Greek Ministry of Education has also made changes to Greek textbooks. During the year of 2017 only, the economic damage to Albania's state budget has been determined as 110.5 billion lek. These losses could be used for more investments such as streets, schools and so on. Supreme State Audit Chair Buja Leskai stated that based on sectors the administration of state property bears the main responsibility and brunt of the damage, followed by customs and public procurements. The biggest violations are in state property and procurements, explained Leskai. The head of the Supreme State Audit has suggested to be careful with budget programming as the public debt is not reducing according to the targeted levels. Be careful with budget programming and investments, added Leskai. Present at the activity, President Ilir Meta said that the disclosure of abuse of state funds contributes to increasing public confidence. The Supreme State Audit is an important institution in boosting public confidence, outlined Leskai. During the 2017 period, the Supreme State Audit has submitted 129 criminal reports to the Prosecutor's Office for people at different levels of leadership. The Supreme State Audit notes that despite the violations, there are no dismissals of directors, which, according to the head of the institution, enhances the culture of impunity. The US State Department has delivered the decision to ban the entry of former Prosecutor General of Albania, Adriatic Lala, and his family to the United States. The decision, made public on Wednesday, states that State Secretary Rex Tillerson approved the detention measure due to the involvement of the former Albanian official in major corruption cases. American law states that in cases where there is reliable information that foreign officials are involved in major corruption cases or in gross violations of human rights, these individuals and their immediate family must not be allowed to enter the United States. The law also provides that the Secretary of State has the right to approve the sanctions against these individuals and their families, either privately or publicly. In addition to Mr. Lala, Secretary Tillerson has decided to issue a ban on entering America also to his wife, Ardiana Lala, daughter, Eni Lala, and another child of his. This is Aldo Umerai, a 25-year-old Albanian wanted by the United States as part of a hacking group who stole at least $530 million through online methods. Since 2010, he is suspected of being part of the network called InFraud, which he used to sell stolen credit card information on the internet. Umerai alone is suspected of having gained $675,000 and having stolen much more by breaking online account codes. Today, the Fear Court left the 25-year-old in prison for extradition to the United States, where he will face a series of allegations by the US Department of Justice. Umerai was arrested in Tirana on Monday as part of an operation that took place simultaneously in some other countries of the world. In a special announcement about this group, the American Justice Department said they have hit millions of bank accounts in at least 50 different countries. Umerai has achieved his results by using a skimming device, allowing him to clone about 1,000 credit cards, bank accounts, as well as conduct falsified online transactions. The 25-year-old's family, who also attended the closed-door session, refused to talk to the media, but once the cameras stopped rolling, they admitted they knew his destiny. Now they need only a final meeting with him before he is handed over to the US's FBI. With divorced parents, Aldo Umerai lived with his mother in the Conferența Pezes neighbourhood in Fear, where he may have practiced some of the illegal activity. Neighbours refuse to talk in front of cameras, but they say that the family lives a normal life. Jaffa e Logaras in Vlora is covered by about 50 centimetres of snow, making the way passable only with snow chains. The police have strengthened their services in the area and instructed drivers to show caution due to frost and mist, which makes the movement difficult. Meanwhile, the firm that maintains the axis has engaged snow cleaner vehicles to keep the road open. In the southeast, the movement of vehicles is again hampered by other snowfall and low temperatures. The national axes are all open, but in sub-segments, movement can only be made with chains. In Darda, the snow has reached 30 centimetres, while in Voskopoja, 10 centimetres. In the Chavtan-Chavploch axis, up to Kapstica, the snow has reached 7 centimetres and movement can be made only with chains. The situation is still problematic in the mountainous areas of the Dibra region, where some villages remain isolated and roads can be travelled only with appropriate chains attached. In Kukës, snow precipitation has stopped, but the region is still suffering strong winds and low temperatures, which have caused frost on the road. Meanwhile, due to a rainfall, a massive rock collapsed during the night on the road of Bustrica, preventing movement of vehicles from Librajde towards Parenjas for about an hour. The event was recorded during the night and fortunately did not cause any serious damage, but the situation remains dangerous. Dense precipitation this week has brought attention to the Mifoli embankment of the Vlora River in Vlora. Floods of the Vjosa River in early December and February have caused damage to the embankment, with local authorities on alert. Tons of inertia were cast in the area as the prefect, Flamur Mamai, says damage to the embankment means flooding in Vlora. The level of the water in Vjosa remains high at the Mifoli Bridge, but is not currently at risk of overflowing its bed in Fier and Vlora. The rainfall caused flooding of 2,000 hectares of land in Fier and Lushnia, damaging agriculture, where residents say the drainage canals became the cause of problems. The problem with the canals was also accepted by Lushnia's mayor, Gentian Nushi, who promised immediate intervention after the water is removed. Monitoring the situation on the ground showed that the embankments in Fier and Lushnia have suffered no damage, while pumping stations are working to remove the water at sea. That's the news across the country today. Thank you for watching our English edition this evening, and be sure to join me again every Monday to Saturday at 6 p.m. for the latest news from Albania. Once again, on behalf of Ora News, thank you and good night.